Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the August edition of our Catch Up with Keeper webinar series. We've got a really exciting one, jam-packed with tons of new features. Super excited to show them to you and get all of your always insightful questions. So appreciate you all so much for taking the time. So Tanya asked, are we going to CPB Ignite this year? Yes, we will be. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get things started. Once again, thank you all so much for taking the time. In case you are new here, this is our Catch Up with Keeper webinar series. It's where we go over all of the latest and greatest updates in Keeper that we've shipped over the last month. So super excited to walk y'all through those. One quick point of order, please, if you have a question, we will take those all throughout the webinar, but drop them into the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen here, rather than into the chat, so that I can make sure that I see them and we answer your question accordingly. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we will walk through the latest updates. All right. So first update, I think this one was long awaited, although maybe slightly confusingly worded at launch. So excited to clarify things here. We finally released automated notifications about recurring non-transaction questions. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how that works here. Essentially, a recurring non-transaction question, which you can see here in your client communications, non-transaction questions, recurring questions. A recurring non-transaction question is a way to have a question published into the portal every single month on some pre-specified date of the month. This could be the first Monday of the month. This could be the 5th of the month. This could be the 15th of the month. And far and away, the most common use for a recurring non-transaction question is a statement request. So you have a statement that you can't get from your clients via read-only access, and so you need them to upload that for you in the portal. The problem with that is based on the way reminders in Keeper work, if you have your reminders going out, let's say every Monday, but that question actually posts on a Tuesday, your client won't see it, won't get any notification, won't hear about it until the following Monday when the next set of reminders goes out. So automated notifications for recurring non-transaction questions, I know that is a bit of a mouthful to say, is the solution to that problem. Essentially, what these do is they automatically notify your clients the day a new question gets published into their portal. It's a recurring non-transaction question. This doesn't happen for every question, and it does not happen every single day about the same transaction. It's just one new notification about those new statements that you need, for example. So if we go ahead and create one here, and let's say we want to get the chase statement, which publishes on the 5th, upload your chase statement. Please upload the PDF here. And we could tag this as a statement request, and we can say this should go every month on the every 1 month on the 5th day of the month. And we're going to say that should start on September 5th. So basically September 5th, and then October 5th, and then November 5th, and then December 5th. And if we check this box here that says notify client, then at 8 a.m. on the 5th, your clients are going to get a notification that says, hey, we need you to upload the latest trace statement. So they'll get an email, go ahead and schedule this. And if we want, we can actually even preview what that email will look like. So they'll get this email here that says, please upload the PDF for your latest chase statement. And then they can click this button to go to the portal. That will take them into the portal where they'll see that they have an action they need to take. They can go to your non-transaction question and upload the appropriate file. So the idea here is really that it lets you notify your clients as soon as a single non-transaction question that you need your clients to answer gets published. Of course, this is not required. If you don't want this email to go out, you just uncheck this, and you can do that on a question-by-question basis. However, if you did want to turn this on for all of your clients, we actually have a special setting that's a new, easy way to do that. So if you go to your practice settings here, and then you go to your client portal, non-transaction questions, there's this notify client notifications option down here, and you can turn this on for all clients or off for all clients. So if you turn this on for all clients, essentially what it does is it goes through all of your recurring non-transaction questions in all of your clients, and then just checks this box. All right, and with that, I will pause and take questions here if there are any in the Q&A. Caleb posted what I think is a funny joke. He asked, "We have three questions we need your help with in the portal. Can you please click here to answer them?" So this is me clicking here to answer them. Okay, maybe it was not intended as a joke. Follow-up question: does the notification say something different from the generic? We have three questions we need your help with in the portal. Can you please click here to answer them? Great question. So I think I answered this in the process of the demo, but yes, you'll see it says exactly this. So it lists the specific questions that your clients need to answer. All right. Caleb asked, what about SMS messages instead of emails? Right now, this is only works via emails today, but definitely makes sense as a future improvement. Okay. So that's that's automated notifications about recurring non-transaction questions, the most verbose feature name for a feature I think we've ever shipped, but hopefully one that you'll find valuable. And now I'm gonna move on to a huge update in reporting, which is the interactive financials in the client portal. So here, if you go to your reporting, you now will see at the bottom these interactive financials. And this gives you the ability to publish a set of interactive financials to your client's portal that goes beyond just the static P&L that you might be delivering for clients today. So for those of you who love the P&L and balance sheet drill downs in the profit and loss or in the close page, this is a way of giving that same level of flexibility and interactivity to your clients in the portal itself. So you can see here, this is going to look very familiar to the interactive financials, the interactive P&L drill down in your client portal, or sorry, on your close page, only it's here in your management reporting. And then when you go to publish your management reports, you can choose to either publish just the normal financial report or the normal financial report and your interactive reports, or just the interactive reports. So this is designed to be a supplement, but you can also make it a replacement for the pure PDF financial reports. And now if we go over and what your clients see, if you publish one of these interactive financial reports, your clients will now have a new financials tab. And if they click over to that financials tab, which they can also get from the financial reports down here, they will see both the static monthly P&L that is the same as it always is. And then they'll also see these three additional tabs: metrics, profit and loss, and balance sheet. If they click the metrics, this will show the metrics that any sort of metrics, visualizations, or dashboards that you've built out for your clients. And they can hover their mouse over anything. So if they wanted to get more details here on exactly each part of this pie chart or every part of the spend by department, they can see all of that here at a super granular level of detail. So it just makes the dashboards feel richer and more interactive. And of course, something that is more a living, breathing thing. Although one thing to note about these is, as you can sort of see through the publishing process, these are actually published. So once they're published, these are static. So it's the values you close. So if someone goes in and you're coding transactions partway through the month, or someone goes in and makes an entry midway through the month, that is not going to change these values. These values are just like your static P&L, locked at the time that you publish them. In addition to the metrics, we also have the P&L and balance sheet. And so here, your clients can toggle on basically all the same set of customizations and flexibility here that you have. So they can turn on advanced controls if they want to see the variances, for example. They can drill down here too, and then see all the vendors. The one thing they can't do is they can't go all the way down to the transaction level. So right now they can just go down to the vendor level, but hopefully that should give them much more insight into what's actually driving these changes at the account level. Hopefully this might save you questions, make you look better, make your clients happier with the work product that you're delivering. If you already use footnotes on your client's static P&L, you can also extend those footnotes for use in the interactive P&L. And so here, if you leave a footnote on the interactive P&L, they can hover over it and see the values here as well. All right. So those are the new interactive financials. And now I will turn over to Q&A to answer some questions. Caleb mentioned, I'd love an interactive report showing year to date through last month, comparative to last year with dollar and percentage changes. Right now, I think we can only do last month or last quarter comparative. That's correct. Although I agree that I think that seems like a sensible addition. So would love if you could drop that into the canny so we can prioritize it accordingly. Okay, Cindy asked, will you mention what build report does? I have noticed this button, but I think I missed the announcement about this. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is a toggle. So there's build report and published. Published will just let you toggle over to the reports that you yourself have published. So basically, this is sort of your side of the client portal. You can see the published June, May, and sort of all the financials that you've published, and you can see the same data that your clients will see if they're in the portal. So this is not an additional button that does anything. It's just a way to toggle between build report and published. Christy asked, how do you get the cash on hand, sales, and burn to appear on the metric screen? So that is these here. These are what we call KPI cards. So we'll back a little bit up. If you want to build visuals and you've never built any visuals before, you do all of that here in your metrics section. Metrics is sort of like Excel integrated directly to your client's books data, and it's designed so that you can build what we call variables, and then overlay visuals on top of them as well. So here, if we go over to our visuals, you can see this is the exact same dashboard that our clients will see if they're in metrics. So this is where I built it. And if you want to create a card that looks like this, it's what's called a KPI card. So it has a single variable here, and you can see for cash on hand, we're just aliasing the bank account's value from the balance sheet, which rolls up all the cash in any account that's of the type bank account. So same idea for sales and burn. I think sales is probably just P&L income. Yep. And then burn is just net income, which is not necessarily the most accurate measure of burn, but for this illustrative metrics dashboard is what we're using. And with any of these, you can click these sort of drag handles on the side to move them around. So wherever it makes most sense for them to be, you can drag any of these to reorder them. And then when you go to publish your financials, that will reorder in the metrics here in the interactive financials, as well as in your metrics section here accordingly. Okay, Jennifer asked, are there any plans to extend the budget report in the package to increasing reporting on budget versus actuals, mostly for not-for-profit that need more budget versus actuals in their board meeting? I'm not sure I totally understand the question. Extend the budget reports in the package to increase reporting. Sorry, Jennifer, I'm not sure I 100% understand the question. If you want to follow up offline by dropping into our chat, I'd be happy to take a look at that as well. Okay, Rochelle asked, the drill down report's a great improvement. Thank you. I have one client that uses Google Sheets for reports currently, so she can comment and ask questions about specific line items. I don't know what this could look like, but would there be a possibility about having a conversation with the client on the financial reports about specific items? This is definitely a direction we'd like to go in. So not something we support today, but I think you have hit on a good theme. This is definitely something I'd love to make sure that we can support without it becoming this chaotic, hard to maintain thing for you and your clients. An anonymous attendee asked, is it just for portal view for interactive reports? I'm not 100% sure if I understand the question behind the question. The answer to the question is yes, this is primarily for interacting for the clients in the portal. Laura asked, do you have any update on when the sync with Sage Intacct might be fully rolled out? Great question. I'll answer this one, and then I will go back to some of the updates. Unless there's any other questions on the interactive P&L. I don't have an immediate update on this. It is in a beta, and so for folks who want to try out the sort of more limited version of the beta, please write into the chat, and we'll help you get set up with that. But I don't have an immediate update on when the sort of live, fully fledged version of the Sage Intacct feature will be live. Okay, Jordan asked, can we enter non-financial KPIs in these reports? You can. You just have to manually enter them. So in your variables here, you have two different types of what we call variables. You have a formula which references other variables, and that can include your values from your profit and loss balance sheet and cash flow. And you can also have what we call values, and these are number type formulas or number type variables, and these you can manually enter in. These you can manually enter in a value, and then you can reference that downstream in another formula. So you do just need to manually copy and paste in any data that you want to go in any number type variables. Brett asked, can we add pre-built metrics, or do we always have to build it ourselves? At this time, you do have to build it out yourselves. However, that's pre-building metrics and metrics templates is definitely something we'd like to add to metrics in the near future. Okay, looks like some of the other questions are not directly related to the interactive P&L, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of the other updates, and then we'll come back to all the rest of the questions and Q&A at the end of the update on the new features. Okay, next update, a bit of a nuanced one, but in Keeper emails, we added more granular permissions. So this is relevant if you have multiple connected practice inboxes. So if we go here into an inbox, I actually have multiple connected practice inboxes here. But if you have, let's say you have an accounting ad, an info ad, a sales ad, a support ad email, and you want to give certain users access to certain inboxes, but not others, you can now handle that in your user management under Keeper emails. You can choose who has access to which email. So if you had multiple connected practice inboxes, you could check or uncheck different options here. And then that would give certain users access to different practice inboxes, depending on what they should be able to see. Okay. Next, moving on to some improvements to Keeper's bank feeds, which we talked about on our last update and is still in a beta. It has been rolling out, although I appreciate those of you who have requested and are still waiting on getting access. We should be rolling out more broad access soon. So we just want to make sure that everyone has a positive first interaction, first experience with bank feeds. So for those of you who are waiting patiently, hopefully we will have this in your hands shortly. Okay, as for some of the updates that we shipped over the last month, first and probably most commonly asked on all of my calls with folks who have demoed and tried out bank feeds is bulk match approvals. So now if you have a bunch of matches and you just want to clear them out, you can check any matches you want to approve and then click match all, and that will bulk match all of the transactions and clear them from the bank feed. In addition, we also added the ability to exclude transactions, which we did not have last month. So you can either bulk exclude, like you can see here, or you can individually exclude transactions as well. If you exclude transactions, they'll go over here into your excluded section. And then if you want, you can take something from excluded and put it back into pending if you need to. Few more updates. We also polished up the drop down here. So this should be a considerably more straightforward UI to interact with. You can now click a cell and then type if this shouldn't be software, but instead should be office supplies. You can just easily start typing. You can also change something to a transfer or find a match if something is not suggesting a match, but you actually know that there is one. You can also do that same setup from here. You can find other matches this way as well. One more update from this 3-dot section. We have the ability to now split transactions. So if you have multiple line items you wanted to apply to a single deposit or expense, you can do that here as well. Okay, some more updates. We also added the ability to leave comments. So these are your internal comments, not external questions, which we also have. So you have external questions you can ask your client and internal comments here. So if I leave a comment, this comment will show up wherever you will see comments. So you'll see it up here in your comments up here at the top. you'll see it in your comment inbox if you got tagged in something. And then one of the other nice things, you can also filter on comments. So we can say, let's just filter on our open and resolved comments. And that way we can work through anything that maybe someone left in the bank feeds because they have a comment for their manager. One other date range filter I'll mention, this is one that I personally use in our own close. It's through current close. Sometimes you just want to code through the end of the current period that you're working on rather than up to the current point, in case you have maybe some point of sale transactions that you only sync through the end of the month rather than sync on a daily basis. And so if you click filter through current close, it will filter. Oh, let me reset these filters. It will only filter any transactions that are through the end of this period, which will be June 30th, 2022. Of course, you can always redo that. And then this filter works for all of the accounts that you're in. So I only have one account here, but if you toggle between these, that filter will stay persistent. All right, and last but not least, we also have an update to connection requests. So connection requests are when you don't have the ability to connect an account directly, but you need to get that from your clients. So to do that, you set up a connection request and you say, here's the account we want connected. You send that off to your client, puts that in the portal, sends your client an email. And so the new update is we also have new notifications when connections expire. So if a connection goes bad for some reason, your Keeper will automatically email your client to reconnect them. So you don't need to worry about coming to the bank feeds a week later, 2 weeks later, and then seeing that that account is connected and then manually needing to bother your client about that. So potentially an account can break and be fixed without you ever needing to bother anyone with it. Okay, so we'll turn over to some Q&A here on bank feeds before I talk about our last update. Okay, Dean asked, will the comment on the transaction within the bank feed then follow that transaction throughout its Keeper close journey? I presume so. Hopefully that's not an odd question. It's not an odd question, and the answer is yes. If you leave a comment, go ahead and filter back for that comment here. So if you leave this comment here, and then you go ahead and post the transaction, so that will show up here in our posted transaction. So we've got this GoDaddy transaction, and you can see that seamlessly transitions over as a comment on that transaction as well. Jacob asked, how do you resolve internal comments? You just click this resolve button. Brett asked, can you bulk add posting all transactions categorized by rules instead of just by account? Okay, I think I understand the question. So the question is like, if we wanted to reset this filter, rather than needing to go into each one and then select it and bulk post, just having the ability to like click bulk post up here on all rules. Not yet, although this is definitely, there's some UI that we're reworking here that I think should enable that. So definitely something that we'd like to support. Elaine asked, the question is essentially, where are bank feeds available? Bank feeds are available in Keeper Premium. So they're not available in standard, but they are available in Premium. They are also only available for folks who are both A, in the beta, and B, in US files. So we don't support international files yet at this time. But other than that, Keeper is available on Premium, which the vast majority of our customers are on that level. Didi asked, is there an additional fee to have the bank feeds feature added to each client? There is not, presuming the aforementioned you are on Keeper Premium. So it's included in Keeper Premium. Okay, Elaine asked, is the bank feed connection independent to the QBO bank feed connection? Yes, that's a great question. The answer is yes. So essentially, you can think of this like a completely separate way to post transactions from a bank feed. The same transactions will end up in your client's ledger, but you don't need to, one, we don't see the bank feed transactions inside of QuickBooks directly, and two, you don't need to code them in both places. So once you start coding your transactions in Keeper, you can disconnect or stop using the bank feeds in QuickBooks. Or if you still want to use the bank feeds in QuickBooks, all the transactions should still show up as matches because the transaction that's posted here, which comes from the bank feed from Chase, for example, should also be the same transaction that you see in the bank feeds in QuickBooks. Bonnie asked, possibly a duplicate question, do the bank feed rules in QBO flow into Keeper? Not yet, but we are working on an importer so that you can import your rules from QuickBooks to Keeper. Christina asked, with Keeper bank feed transactions, do we need to disconnect the banks from QuickBooks? You don't need to disconnect the banks from QuickBooks, and in fact, would definitely recommend keeping them both active for the initial period of time as you're sort of getting your bearings and seeing what a transaction looks like in Keeper versus what it looks like in QuickBooks. But once you are comfortable, you don't need to keep the bank connections active in QuickBooks as well. You can just use your bank feeds in Keeper. Brett asks, is there any way to send reminders for bank connection requests? Not yet, although we are working on folding those into the standard reminder system within Keeper. Dana asked, can you add memos to both places when synced into QBO and not just the bottom one? Presumably by this, you mean the line item and the memo. Not yet. In fact, we don't yet support memo editing inside the bank feeds. Definitely a feature that we're working on and should be coming soon. But so you can't yet edit both the line item and the memo today. Kate asked, bank feed question, do comments post to QuickBooks? So these comments are like the Keeper comments. So with that in mind, they do not post to QuickBooks. They still live internally in Keeper. But as I showed earlier, when you post that transaction from the bank feeds, the comment that was attached to that bank feed line will carry over to the comment or will carry over to the transaction that is now posted. An anonymous attendee asked, do you have a list of bank or credit card accounts that are supported for bank feeds in Keeper? We've been trying without success to connect the corporate Amex account for years in QuickBooks. Great question. I believe the corporate Amex account is supported, but we can definitely try that out. The best way to see that list is to just click Add Account here and then search for American Express, for example. And then I believe that will take you to Amex. If you run into any issues connecting that Amex account, definitely drop into the chat bottom here, and then we can take a look and see if there's anything else we can do. Okay, that looks like all the bank feeds questions. A few more questions that I will, again, come back to at the end. So for now, I'll move on to the last major feature I get to talk about today in Keeper, which is Keeper Accruals. Okay, so Keeper Accruals is a new feature within Keeper to help you manage your accruals posting. Today, it is opening up to a very private beta, and it is primarily focused on prepaids and fixed assets, although we are working on rolling out support for all your other myriad accruals, your accrued expenses, your rev rec, your payroll. So all of those processes should be rolling out into Keeper over the coming months as we roll this feature live. So the way it works, there's sort of two main interfaces to Keeper Accruals. The first is, actually, before I start, let me talk about how you can enable this. So it is a part of the beta program. So if you want to enable Keeper Accruals in your account, you first have to enable the beta features opt-in. And then you should see this button show up in your account after some period of time, and then you can enroll in the Accruals beta, and that will let you see and explore all the functionality here. Okay, so the first section in Keeper that you'll probably interact with is this Accruals page right here. The Accruals page is important for two reasons. One, it is where you can see the sort of fully enumerated schedule for any of your accruals that you're managing. And then second is it is where you can upload your accruals schedules to have Keeper take over that process. So the entire idea is you can do away with your fixed assets, your prepaids, all of your schedules that you're currently maintaining in spreadsheets. And basically, you can take those spreadsheets, reformat them slightly, upload them here, and then we can take over the process of posting all of your schedules, or sorry, posting all of your accruals journal entries in all future months, as well as posting your transactions, managing your schedule so you can tie things out here as well. So just to show a quick example here, this is what a sample file looks like that you can import. Basically, all we're asking for is, and we have a video that sort of walks through in full depth how to convert your existing prepaid schedule, for example, into this. But so here you've got your source account, your vendor payee, the expense account, the date the posting starts. I think this is the one that like takes some nuance and understanding to wrap your head around. So the basic idea is, if you imagine you've sort of done all of the accruals through the end of May and you've closed the books for May, then we recommend setting the date the posting starts to June 1st. And then you have your book balance as of the takeover date, the remaining duration, the method. Right now, we only support straight line, although we are working on other methods as well. And then class, location, if you use those as well. So once you upload that here, it will essentially parse that detail. It will show you this is what this is going to import. So we've got the book balance here that it's importing. It's showing you all of the entries it's going to make, and it's going to actually post these entries. It'll post a $970 transaction in June, in July, in August, September, October, November, and so on until it zeroes out that book balance. And that's in alignment with the imported book balance as well as the remaining depreciation or the remaining effective useful life. So I'm not going to actually upload this because I actually already did it before this call. But while we're here, I'll show what a typical schedule will look like. So here we can see the net book value as of the current period. We can see the balance of that account in QuickBooks. We can also see the balance of the schedule. So we can see these are not the same. In fact, they are off by $20,000. And we'll toggle over into the close page momentarily, and I'll show you why that is off. But the short answer is it's off because we have some transactions that are living in QuickBooks that we have not yet posted to the schedule. Similarly, for prepaid, we can review any of our source accounts here. We can also filter this by type. So here, this would be the same for computers original cost. This is computers. I have not set up this demo file here, so the schedule is 0 across the board. But here you can see, in addition to tracking the net book value, we can also track the original cost account and any differences there, and then the accumulated depreciation and any differences there as well. So you can make sure you're tying out all of your balances. Okay, so back into the close page here. In addition to the accruals page, we also have a new section in your close called accruals. And the basic idea is, as new transactions show up in any of your source accounts, you can review and add them directly to the new accrual schedule and amortize out the posting into the future right from this section. So here we've got prepaid expenses. We can see we have some new transactions. We've got a $12,000, $5,000, and a $3,000 that makes up that $20,000 schedule balance difference. And then here we, just to take one example, we've got this 12-month Salesforce license. We can click add to accruals. And then here, all we need to type is the 12-month duration, software here. And then here you can see all of the entries it's going to post. So it will post 12 entries here, one in June 30th, all the way dating down to May 31st, amortizing that $12,000 over 12 equally rated months. And then if you click post, it will post all of these transactions directly to your ledger. It will also add this to your schedule. So if we go into our schedule here in accruals, we can now see, now that we've added that $12,000 asset to our prepaid expense schedule and amortized it out, we have this difference of $8,000, which is just the other two transactions we haven't added. Once you add something to your schedule, it will show up here. And here you can see the current book value as of the end of the close. So that $12,000 minus the $1,000 that we posted. And we can also see all of the journal entries that we made to amortize out that value. Fixed assets works in much the same way. You just click add to accruals, only we might have this be 36 months instead of 12. You can see depreciation is already pre-mapped. We could map this to a particular class if we wanted to as well, and then it's going to make all of those entries here as well. Really quickly, I'll show one more thing, which is how to set up a new account. So here, let's say we want to start tracking furniture. We can create, if we have a new account called furniture, you will put the original cost here because that's where new transactions show up. So that's the sort of identifier that we need to put a new transaction into onto the schedule. And then we can map any accumulated depreciation here. The net book value, which here I have my furniture set up in this case where I have the parent account and I have the original cost and the depreciation that's just subs. And if you do that, then the parent account will implicitly equal the net book value. That's how you can set up this setup here, where you've got net book value and fixed asset and original cost versus accumulated depreciation. And then we can also choose a depreciation expense that we want this to map to as a default. And so then once you set that up, these are basically the accrual schedules that you're tracking. And then any new transactions that flow in there, you can see and add directly to the schedule. Okay. All right. We'll turn over to the questions for accruals. And then that is the last update. So then I will turn over to the remainder of the questions as well. Okay. First question is both of the first and second question around cost. We're still finalizing pricing around Keeper accruals. We'll be in a suite of updates that is going to come out next month. And so we'll have more to share around pricing in a few weeks' time. Caleb mentioned, I want to be able to split accruals entries to multiple expense accounts or multiple classes. This is definitely something we plan to support. If you want to drop into the chat or shoot me an email with a little bit more context on your use case, I'm happy to clarify on whether that's something that we'll be able to support at launch or shortly thereafter. Maggie asked, can you set the end date as well? Today, we don't support end dates. Essentially, the way it works is you just set up the start date and then the duration. So that implicitly forms the end date. But we are working on other methods. Right now, we just support straight line, but we are working on other methods. So for example, you could have an explicit start and explicit end date and sort of smoothly amortize over that window. Caleb asked, do you plan to allow us to ask questions to our clients about the transactions in the accrual section? Yes, definitely. So there should be a new column coming soon. Right now, this is a little bit slightly of a pared down list or list of columns here, but you should eventually be able to see and edit all of the columns here, including comments and questions for clients as well. Caleb asked, you plan to allow us to show accruals data in the portal. This is not something that we have considered previously, but it's definitely something that we could support. So again, if you want to shoot us a message either in chat or over email, we can take a deeper look at that feature. I think it's an interesting use case. An anonymous attendee asked, does Keeper post the accruals entries immediately, future posting, or does it wait until the close period to post? It immediately posts the entries, so it future posts. Caleb asked, when do you plan to add RevRec to the accruals feature? It would work identically to prepaid expenses, just the reverse. Yes, RevRec should, I believe, be coming into the beta in the next couple of weeks, but definitely will be live at launch. Amy asked, will we be able to export the schedule to provide to auditors and CPAs? Short answer is yes. There will be an export button right here. The slightly longer answer is it's not live just yet in the beta. An anonymous attendee asked if an accrual schedule is accidentally created or created with the wrong number of periods, how do you fix this? There is editing is like maybe a day or two away, I think, from showing up here in the beta. But basically, there will be an option here to edit the data, whether you've posted this to if you posted something to the wrong account or posted it to for the wrong number of periods, for example. So editing and deleting will come soon. Okay. So those are all of the questions about accruals. Great questions at all. And now that is the end of the formal update for all of the new features that we shipped over the last month. So now we'll turn things back over to the Q&A for the other questions that people have asked throughout the webinar. Okay. First question. Is it on the roadmap to let people upload the GL for clients who are not in QuickBooks? For example, for clients who are using property management software for their GL. Definitely something that we get asked a decent amount. Not something I can say is like concretely on the near-term roadmap. But if you add your vote to that feature in Canny, we'll be sure to send an update as soon as we have one on that feature. Danny asked, when will Keeper be able to support Sage Intacct? We do support Sage Intacct today in a more limited sort of workflow-only capacity. You can see more about what that looks like in our Intacct article on this in the Help Center. Basically, it's sort of workflow, P&L balance sheet review, although it doesn't go all the way down to the transaction level sync as well. So this is in a beta today, and if you want, you can try it out. I don't have an update on when the sort of full version of the Intacct sync will be live, but we'll be sure to share that as soon as it's available. Okay. Cindy asked, do Keeper reports allow for a report with actuals compared to prior year, compared to budget, all in the same report? I don't believe so. I think you can do one for budget versus actuals and one for actuals versus prior year, but I don't believe you can put all three of those on the same report. Okay, Erica asked, do the interactive reports show on the mobile app? Not yet, although we are working to bring those to the mobile app soon. Jenny asked, where are we on supporting cash flow statements and top vendors and customers by spend on Xero? I don't have an update for that at the moment, but we'll be sure to post that update to the Canny as soon as it's available. Jay asked, can the metrics be copied from one client to another after they've been created, or do they need to be individually created per client? For the most part, they need to be individually created per client. I will show one thing that's sort of like a hacky thing that you can technically do, and it will technically work, although I can't say that in good conscience is like the best thing to do here. If you are in metrics, you can just copy these values. So let's see if I can show an example here. Oh, God. So this is not necessarily something I would recommend. We'll even see if it works here. But you can take these here and copy and paste them, and that will actually work. But you will probably have to rework all the formulas unless you happen to have formulas that like are where the names of the accounts are the exact same. If that is the case, then you might get lucky here. So that's an option here, but you'll see that's going to break almost everything because this is a completely empty file. We are working on better support for copying metrics across clients though, so we'll stay tuned on that. Miriam asked, can Keeper be used for some of my clients that use QuickBooks Desktop? You can have those clients, as we call unconnected clients here, which still support all the workflow and communication capabilities inside Keeper and are free as an added benefit, but we don't yet have a sync to QuickBooks Desktop. Intercompany transfers. We've been utilizing intercompany transfers here, and I would like to confirm whether Keeper offers a way to generate consolidated financial reports across the intercompany entities. Not at this time. Definitely something that we are evaluating on our sort of mid to long-term roadmap, but for now, we don't support consolidations. Aline asked, are we going to get a practice-facing app? Eventually, yes, although I can't say that it is on the immediate roadmap. Okay, and then Caleb asked on accruals, if transactions post immediately for the future, if there are future changes to the accrual period, e.g. for revenue recognition, maybe the project got delayed, it might make sense to delay the posting of the transaction. So I'm not sure I'm following the question here. We are working on more flexibility around the ability to have things that are like, for example, scheduled and then rescheduled, or put on the schedule without amortizing them. So for example, if you have we're not sure yet when this should get recognized, we will support that in the accrual setup. Danny asked, will Keeper be able to code post multiple IC transactions instead of one by one at some point? I'm not sure I know what IC transactions are referring to here. So if you want to clarify, I'd be happy to. Intercompany. Okay. I think that's definitely something that we could work on as an improvement. But yeah, for now, it does only support one by one. All right. Well, that is all of the Q&A for now, until I say that's all of the Q&A, and then I expect a couple more questions to come through. So we'll give folks maybe another 30, 45 seconds here to see if you have any other last minute questions, and then we can go ahead and draw the webinar to a close. All right. Well, it sounds like that is all the questions here. So thank you all so much for taking the time today. In case you joined late or didn't join at all, this will be posted to our YouTube video and sent out with the weekly update on Thursday. Excuse me. So I hope you all have a good rest of your August. I hope you wrap up those July closes if you haven't already done so. And I look forward to seeing you all right here again, same time at the next month.